Hey guys, so before I get this video started, I have something to show Leslie. This is a pattern that I found. Um, it doesn't look the most vibrant in the magazine, but I have a feeling in person it'll be a lot more vibrant. And I liked it because it had the bleeding hearts. And it has pearls, which it's really hard to see in this magazine, but it has pearls sewn into it, and pansies and a few other types of flowers, and then, you know, it's got this space in the center to put in memory of. So I don't have a whole lot of magazines here to choose, you know, to pick a pattern out of, and this is the best one that I was able to find for the occasion, I guess you could say. Anyways, let me know what you think. And I was gonna get started on that one. If you like this one, it'll probably take me a little while, but I'll give you progress updates on it. Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys actually wanted to see this video or not, but I decided to do it anyways because I've been under the weather with my leg again, whatever's going on with my body, and so I haven't been able to do really much crafting at all. So I thought I would do this because I'm finally able to sit down, because I can't sit when this is happening. And so anyways, I thought I would show you. I think I had mentioned it when I was opening up the box that Leslie had sent me. I was going to show you guys, and like I said, I don't know if anybody wants to see it anyways, but I was going to show you guys my collection, if you will, of crafting materials that I think most would throw away. I don't know if that's the right way to put it. My collection of upcyclables, of scrap papers, of beads, of scrap fabric and scrap lace, of scrap wire, scrap ribbons, anything scrappy you can think of. I thought I'd show you my collection so that you could kind of get the gist of, I don't know what you would call it. Some people would call it a problem. It's not a lifestyle for everybody, I will tell you that. And I think you definitely have to have the support of your family in order to have a lifestyle that I have when it comes when it comes to my collecting. But I think what has made it work for me is I set limits for myself, and also I stay very organized. You know, I don't have just piles of junk everywhere. Everything has its place. So yeah, I thought I would show you of my collection of collected materials. So the first thing I'm going to show you is, and I have two of these boxes, and I pretty much try and stay confined to two boxes. And one day when we are out of this cabin, I would like to get everything out of boxes, but for now they're in boxes because I have to stack things. You know, I can't have things at eye level. So these are my upcycle boxes, and because I have to stack them, I write upcycle, or whatever's in the box, I write it on the side of the box so I know what's in it. And I keep an array of things in here. I've got medicine bottles and light bulbs. I've got jars to jar candles, coffee sleeves, cocoa cans. I've got foam that doesn't crumble. I have a slight obsession with these juice caps. I don't know why. There is one thing. I keep these, and these have a very specific purpose. Because they hold on to my light bulbs when I'm painting them. So I never throw these away. And with like the cans and stuff like that, I don't collect every single can that I open. You know, like I said, I can find my... I limit myself to 2 boxes, so usually I've got like 4 or 5 cans and then the rest are recycled. And then when I go through the 4 or 5 cans, then I'll replace those 4 or 5 cans. So, yeah, I've just got 2 big cardboard boxes of recyclable goodies, and with glass jars, I pretty much always save glass jars. Even if I don't have room in these boxes, I always save glass jars, and I always save light bulbs. And then if I really start to overflow, then I just start crafting with them. So next would be beads. Now I have beads that I keep, that I buy, you know, from a store. Most of these beads, although I do keep all my gloss pearls in here too, because I have so many. Most of these beads have come off junk jewelry that I've gotten from friends. So, because when I'm making stick pins, the last thing that I'm gonna want to put on a stick pin is a crystal. You know, I don't want to put a crystal on a stick pin. Crystals are expensive. I don't want to put anything expensive on a stick pin. Some may feel differently. I understand that. But I want to put something plastic or glass on a stick pin. Not sticking my crystals on a stick pin. So this would be my bin of shame right here, which I shouldn't feel shameful over it, because it's not like I've created this myself. You know, it's things I've gotten from other people, mainly my mother, you know. But this would be my bin of shame right here, and it's my bin of scrap lace and fabric, and it's basically that's it. It's my bin of scrap lace and fabric. This is where I keep remnants of lace, remnants of fabric, things that don't have a good length on them. Usually, if there's, it depends on how fancy the lace is. If it's really like super nice Venice lace, you know, as long as there's like a foot of it, I'll wrap it, I'll put it with my other lace. But if it's just cheapo lace like this, there needs to be at least a yard, or it goes into my scrap bin. Or if it's gunky, then it goes into my scrap bin. And I throw the doilies in here too that are torn up. Usually I try, if I get doilies from a store or something, I try and give as many of the good ones to my friends and then just keep torn up ones for myself. But this is the bin I turn to first if I'm looking for a scrap of lace, or if I'm looking, or if I'm in the mood. Whenever I'm in the mood for to make flowers, I always try and make flowers, because this bin is overflowing. I really need to get a bin with a lid. You know, I always make flowers from this because there's just, it's so much. The bin of shame. So this is my bin of junk jewelry. Most of it I got from Shay. Some of it was my great grandmother's jewelry. I really need to look through here and see. I cannot find for the life of me where I put this baby cherub. Because I'm ready to make molds of a bunch of things, but I want to make sure I have everything that I want to make a mold of before I do that. But anyways, it's got all kinds of goodies. Not the most sparkly things in the world, but it works. So this next box, I was debating on whether to call it a scrappy type box or not. Because a lot of it's not. So there are some things in here that are scrappy. So this is where I keep fabric, flowers, most of it anyways, in a box. Like I said, one day I'd like to get them out of the boxes, but because I have to stack everything vertical in here, they're in boxes. So some of this stuff is like potpourri, you know, and I like to use this on Christmas ornaments, and I know you can't really see because of the glare, but I try and get into this box as much as possible because I do have a lot. I really didn't buy much of any of this, and I think I've bought two things at the Dollar Tree ones, but that was pretty much it. These wooden roses came from a grab bag at Bargain World, but none of this I really bought, you know. It's just stuff I have. Besides stuff I got from Shea, I don't remember where I got it from. I don't know if that's bad or good. It's probably bad, isn't it? Is that bad that I don't remember? I'm gonna say it's good that I have so many generous people in my life that don't want to waste things by throwing them out. Yeah. I'm gonna deem it good. But, yeah, I try and dig in this whenever I can, instead of going straight for the paper flowers. I regretfully don't access this box as much as I would like to, because I have to stack things. It's not a convenient way to access. I'll grab that stem that fell later. Access this. But when I can access these fake flowers better in the future, I'm sure I will use them more. Okay, so next, I only pulled out one bucket. I didn't see the point of pulling out all the buckets. I've got a lot of ice cream buckets, and I have a lot of Laffy Taffy buckets that I got from the Five and Dime. She gives away the stuff for free, you know, the containers for free. And they're perfect. And I get a lot of scraps of ribbon from people. And they're perfect. I don't ever want to throw them away. I just, you know, as long as there's a couple inches on it, it's perfect. And I know there's always, I guess I just have that mindset. There's always going to be that day that I'm going to need it. So, I'm not sure how many buckets I have, but I've got at least 4 or 5, and I just call my ribbons and trims buckets, and this is where I keep all of my ribbons and trims. And it's not the best way to keep them, but with so many, you know, a lot of the stuff, like, sure, I've got a decent amount of this, yeah, but a lot of it is just a remnant, you know, so there's no good way to store it, I don't think. At least nothing I've found. So this works okay for me. And it was a free storage solution, so I've got mini buckets, ribbons, and trims. Okay, so I've got this container. I keep eggshells in here. Basically, once this is full, it's full. I don't collect any more eggshells past this point. So, the only thing I'm ever in danger of overflowing on is the bin of shame and the upcycle boxes. But I use that for eggshell mosaic. So I have a lot of greeting cards. A lot of them are greeting cards that have been sent to us. I keep them for a couple reasons. I don't know who Steve is. I know there's a Mike and a Michelle in our family, but I don't know who Steve is, so I don't know who they are. But there's a couple reasons why I like the greeting cards. One, for this card, for instance, I really like this pattern on it, and I think if I punched out flower petals around this border, it'd make really pretty flower. Second of all, when I'm making cards, if I want to, stamp out an image on white cardstock or cream cardstock and color it in, I can stamp it out on a greeting card and not have to waste, or not have to buy white cardstock. So that's what I do. Again, I don't know how I got so many greeting cards, but I did. I have a lot. I was in a greeting card buying fix for a while. I'd buy like hundreds at the thrift store. Okay. So I've got those. Once upon a time, which I still do occasionally, I made a lot of gem trees. I just took out a small handful. I have a buttload of scrap wire. When I make gem trees, sorry, let me get a drink. It's really toasty in here. I don't know why. When you're making a gem tree, one of the worst things that can happen is you run out of wire. So you kind of want to overestimate wire as opposed to underestimating on wire length. So a lot of the times, I've got a lot of excess wire, and I keep a shoe rack on my wall, and one of the pouches just has my scrap wire from gem trees. And when I'm making like angel ornaments or something and I just need a small piece of wire, I just go and grab a snippet from my gem trees and use it as opposed to cutting it off the spool. Let's see. So this is something new that I've been doing recently, and I wish I had started it a long time ago. I keep a tart warmer in my bedroom, and I had been feeling, and in case y'all don't know what a tart warmer is, it's where you put scented wax in a dish, and the light bulb heats up the scented wax, and it releases the scent. It's like a candle, but without wax being burned. And I had been feeling really guilty that I had been throwing out all this wax once the scent was gone. So what I've been doing, and this is just a couple of is once the scent is gone, I've been dumping it out, and I haven't done, you know, if I have a shade of red, I'll dip it in the shade of red Dixie cup, you know. If I have a shade of green, I'll dip it in the shade, or dump it in the shade of green Dixie cup. And I've been saving these Dixie cups of wax, and you know, the Dixie cups can just be torn right off the side. And I'll be saving these. About 10 years ago, I used to make candles, and because my mother used to be a candle maker. My mother used to be an all-purpose crafter too, before she just did jewelry. And we have a lot of candle making supplies in our storage. So I've been saving this wax, and I thought it'd be really fun to remelt this wax and make candles. Once I've got enough, you know, saved up. I've got a bin of watches. This really doesn't take up a lot of room if you're lazy. If you're not so lazy, you know, I've just been lazy and I haven't been taking them apart recently. But you know, when you do take them apart, you just end up with this. But I use this for jewelry, and for jewelry making, to put onto jewelry. I like to decorate boxes with watch parts, and I just like watch parts. I don't know what to tell you there. Okay. So I've recently picked back up cross stitch, thanks to a push from Bonnie again. I really thought my mother was going to look at me sideways when I asked her to start saving her floss cuttings. But she didn't. I think my mother is quite used to my odd requests of her saving random things now, but when I had started up cross stitch, you know, when you've reached the end of your thread and it's time to cut it off and start a new piece, you know, you've got all these little bits that you've cut off, and paper making is something that I've really been wanting to do. And I haven't done it because I haven't found a cheap enough blender for myself. I've found blenders up the wazoo at thrift stores, but none that I have deemed cheap enough, you know. I'm a very patient person, and I will wait until I've found one that I deem cheap enough. So, basically, I've been saving the floss, and I want to put these threads in the paper when I'm making paper. And I've been saving when I do cross stitch kits. Because when you're doing cross stitch, you have to separate a 6-stranded piece of floss into either two strands, or 1 strand, or 3 strands. If I have some left over that I haven't had to separate and it's still a 6-stranded piece of floss, I've been throwing it in this bag in case I want to do a ornament later on down the road, and it just has a sentiment on it that says like Holly Jolly, and I don't need that much. I can just pull a 6-stranded piece of floss out of here that was left over for my kit, and then I won't have to tap into the big containers of floss that my mother has. This is also something new that I've started, and I'm limiting myself to one grocery bag, and this is just full of scrap paper. And I decided to start this now before I found my blender, because I figured once I had my blender and I really was in the mood to make paper, chances are there'd be not one lick of paper in the house for me to blend up. So, I decided just to have one bag of paper ready for me to go, and then once this bag is filled up with scrap paper, you know, whatever paper comes after it will just go into the recycling bin until this bag is empty. And then I think I have one more thing to share with you that y'all may actually be able to relate to. Scrapbook paper. Let me get some of this out of the way here. Okay, so this is my scrapbook paper scrap bin. And this is where I keep, get these out of the way. This is where I keep any trimmings of scrap paper. Every once in a while when I have like a recyclable like piece of cardboard, like this is a really awesome piece of corrugated cardboard my mother showed me that I thought was the most awesome thing in the world that I wanted. I'll throw it in here. I also keep my washi paper in here because I don't have any other place to put it. I keep a small amount of cards in here, of greeting cards in here, so that I have access to white cardstock all the time. Because these large bags that I have aren't easily accessible. And then in that bin, I keep this Ziploc, and this is where I keep the really tiny scraps of scrapbook paper, and some of it is just waiting to get punched with my music note or my leaf punch. Because I do use these a lot on cards. This way I'm not wasting any little bit. I don't know what to tell you. You know, sometimes I'll save little calendars because I like the pictures in the calendars. I've also got this bin here where I've got a romance novel. If I want book paper, I've got coffee filters. I've got just some photo paper, just some random papers that I keep in this bin. Primarily because they won't fit in this one. But, yeah. That would be my collection of collected stuff. And, I don't know. Maybe that helps somebody who is on a tight budget. Maybe it gives somebody an idea on how to utilize things more. I don't know. Maybe this was a complete waste of time, and maybe y'all think I'm a hoarder. That could be entirely possible also. I could be a hoarder, but I use my stuff, guys. I use it. I craft with it. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later. Yeah. Hope y'all are doing well. Adios. Bye-bye.